think sorry, I was just watching this again and I can't help but crack up. I think Colin Cowherd is broken. I I I think he's broken. I don't know if it was Jalen Hurts that broke him. He also talks about Brock Purdy here, but I'm gonna leave I'm gonna he talks about Brock first, and I'm gonna leave a little bit of that because I think it's an important thing to talk about as well, but we're gonna have a little fun with this because what he says in order to criticize Jalen Hurts, I guess I'll give him credit for this. He's creative. Brand new stuff. This is wild. I have never heard this used. Birds fans, y'all know we've talked about this all season long. Everything about Jalen Hurts is constantly moving the goalposts. When we bring up that he's a Super Bowl MVP and he's got a ring, it's, oh, well, that's a team thing. We bring up his win, oh, that's a team thing. When we say, hey, well, guess what? We've got these stats, all these stats, QB rating, touchdown to interception, like all these numbers. Oh, well, now you're just talking about stats. Doesn't stats don't matter, right? Howard-esque, the QB rating doesn't make any sense. Stats are just a gauge. Well, no crap. They're just that's the point of a stat. Um, anyway, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. Appreciate all your support. Really do. If you're enjoying the content, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. It's such a simple, easy way to help out the channel tremendously. It really does. So anyway, let's dig into this. We're going to listen. Plus, the first part's kind of wild too. But anyway, let's take a listen. Let's take a listen. We got about 30 to 35 seconds about the Brock Purdy stuff, but I want to touch on that with regard to Jalen Hurts because we've heard this argument with Jalen Hurts as well, and then we'll get into the really wild stuff.
Meet this weekend in the Bizarro Bowl. Both have been massively elevated. This is how they've made the playoffs. Not because they're elite talents. They've been elevated by other forces. Take Brock Purdy. He lands Kyle Shanahan, who made Matt Schaub a Pro Bowler.
All right, first I want to talk about this quarterback thing first because as you can see, and everyone, it really pisses me off when people do this type of stuff. You obviously by Colin's tone and the way he's talking, he's basically saying any of you who think it's difficult to draft a quarterback, you're stupid, right? As if there haven't been busts. In fact, unlike Colin Cowherd, who's got the staff and the money to do a little research and doesn't, just a few examples. I mean, I think three of the biggest ones recently, of course, Ryan Leaf. We all know he was picked ahead of Peyton Manning. Jamarcus Russell may be the biggest quarterback bust in NFL history. Johnny Manziel was another one, but it is a long, long list. I actually went and did a little research, Colin, and I won't go through all of them because but these are all first round quarterbacks, y'all. Jason Campbell, Matt Leinart, Rex Grossman, Byron Leftwich, Patrick Ramsey, Chad Pennington, Mark Malone, Brady Quinn, Richard Todd, Kyle Bowler, JP Losman. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Rich Campbell, Tommy Maddox, Vince Young, ex-Eagle, Vince Young, Joey Harrington, Jack Thompson. I mean, try to keep a lot of names that a lot of you might recognize because maybe they played a little. But again, first round picks, a lot of them. Some of them were number ones overall. I didn't write down where they were drafted on each, but at the top of my head, we've got some number three picks overall, a bunch of number sixes. Like these are the guys that Colin Cowherd is saying should be can't miss because it's just so easy. Um, Kelly Stauffer, right? Stauffer, Jim Druckenmiller, Mike Phipps, Jerry Tagg, Dan McGuire, David Klingler, Todd Blackledge, Akili Smith, Andre Ware, Rick Mara. By the way, Rick had a fantastic rookie year. This is why you never know and why some of the stuff with Shedeur Sanders is so ridiculous early on when like he'll have a good game or a bad game and people say he's a bust or he's proven that he's going to be great. Guys have There are guys that have phenomenal rookie years or even a couple of great years, and then they just don't progress or they regress. Rick is one of those. He had a fantastic rookie year. I believe he broke a lot of rookie records. Heath Schuler, Art Slitster, I think was Ohio State way back in the day. I want to say he was that. No, he wasn't that 83 class. He was 82, I believe. So the point being, so many of these guys are taken in the first round that, of course, because that's when people are going to take a quarterback for the most part that they think is going to be the difference maker for a franchise. So yes, you're going to get most of the quarterbacks who have success were first round picks for that reason. It doesn't mean that it's easy to draft a good quarterback, Colin.
Have been massively elevated. This is how they've made the playoffs. Not because
Wow.
they're elite talents.
Wow.
They've been elevated by other forces. Take Brock Purdy. He lands Kyle Shanahan, who made Matt Schaub a Pro Bowler, Matt Ryan the
Okay,
MVP.
so he goes a little more into the Brock Purdy stuff, but I don't want to waste a lot of time with that because the whole thing is about 2.5 minutes if we let it all go. But he's kind of helping us out. Now, I know a lot of people, one of the ways people use the goalposts is they like to say, oh, well, they protect Kevin Patullo by saying, oh, Jalen Hurts, it's because Jalen Hurts doesn't want to do this. Jalen Hurts can't do that. It's actually the flip. We know that. Yes, absolutely. The right coach and the right system and the right play calls can help elevate a quarterback. It doesn't take anything away from the quarterback because he has to have the talent to do it. What Colin is actually making the opposite argument, and he doesn't even realize it because not a very bright man. This goes to how damaging a bad offensive coordinator can be, how damaging a bad head coach can be, how damaging bad play calling can be to a quarterback. And it also goes to the show that even though they used it as a negative against Jalen Hurts, well, oh, they don't call these calls because Jalen's not comfortable with doing X, Y, Z. Well, hell yeah, that's exactly how it should be. Um, I think a great example, I'll use one for Philly, and the old timers can let me know for sure. I can't remember the coach that came in and did this, but Randall Cunningham, right? Um, I love watching clips of him. Go, if you think you talk about some of the guys who can run today and this and that, please go back and look at Randall Cunningham stuff. Phenomenal talent. I forget what coach came in, but there's a coach that came in and tried to make Randall a West Coast offense style quarterback. And what I mean most specifically was running a lot of short slants over the middle. And Randall struggled. But it wasn't because Randall was a bad quarterback. It was because that was a weakness for Randall, if you want to look at it that way, because Randall had a long windup, right? He was very accurate. He was a cannon. He could throw the ball, 70 yards with ease. He was one of the best deep ball throwers to ever play in the NFL, but also medium range, the intermediate stuff. He could throw a laser. But because of that long windup, that he was going to be late a lot on, quick three-step drops with slants over the middle. It's just not a play you want to run with Randall Cunningham. Eagles end up getting rid of Randall. He goes to Minnesota, has absolutely phenomenal success. But the Minnesota coach said, hey, you know what? We're going to take what Randall does well, and we're going to chuck the ball downfield. That's what we're going to do. And Randall's going to go and make the Pro Bowl. And I didn't look it up for it, but I want to say something like 3,500 yards at a time when that was a much bigger deal, and he was absolutely had phenomenal success. So that is not like this idea that, oh, Brock Purdy's not that good. It was Kyle Shanahan is absolutely absurd. But let's get into the Jalen Hurts stuff now. And I think I got a second or two before it comes up. Here we go. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. I wanted to stop it for a second because I wanted to say, pay attention to the reasoning here. This is wild. I've never heard this before.
Elevated significantly. Take Jalen Hurts. He got benched in college. Greg Cosell, who looks at film on the show with Tom Brady tomorrow, acknowledges he can't see over the middle of the field all the time. He's 5'10".
The dude is not 5'10-ish. Again, do a little research. And we've proven over and over again that that is a lie. The over the middle stuff is a lie. Now, look, can a 6'5" quarterback see better over the middle? Yeah, absolutely. Does that mean Jalen Hurts can or that he's bad? Again, real quick, the Eagles ran crossing routes at the third lowest rate in the NFL this year. However, that being said, when they did run them, Jalen Hurts 32 of 38, which was the second highest completion percentage among quarterbacks in the NFL. 32 of 38, 329 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a 129.1 passer rating when targeting crossing routes over the middle. I'm just saying. So I don't know. Maybe do a little research, Colin.
The Eagles actually win more the fewer times Jalen Hurts throws. But he's got the best GM in the league.
Okay, I don't want to. I'm sorry. I know some people get mad when I stop quickly, but I don't want to forget what he just said. But yeah, you heard it right. Jalen Hurts has success because the Eagles have a good GM. Somehow having a good GM translates into Jalen Hurts making all these phenomenal plays on the field, even in big games. But the other thing I want to address real quick, because you heard him about the people are making a big deal now about, oh, when he throws less or when he throws for fewer than 200 yards. And yeah, that's this season. But there are a few things that can go into that. One, if you're having success running the ball, if you're winning games, right? Last week was he 13 of 20 in the first half, and then the whole 0 for 7 in the second. But again, 20 passes in the first half, 7 in the second. Why? Because they were winning and they want to protect the lead. And when you're a team that's winning, usually you're going to throw less. When you're a team that's losing, playing catch up, you are going to throw more. Also, if your drives are long, right? If you're which they usually are longer when you're running, if you're eating up time, you have fewer drives in the game, fewer possessions, which means overall fewer yards because you might have 4 or 5 drives in a game instead of 8 or 9 because you're taking 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 plays and a lot of time to score as opposed to 3, 4, or 5 plays and less time to score, which means you're going to get the ball more often, which means you're going to have more opportunities to pile up yards. But also, I just want to point this out real quick because this is back in 2022, no Saquon Barkley or all that. People seem to forget Jalen Hurts was 14-1. He played 15 games. Remember the dirty play by the Redskins that knocked him out with the concussion. But he was 14-1, 306 for 460 passes for the season, over 66%, 3,700 yards. By the way, 460 passes in 15 games is an average of over 30 passes a game. By the way, he never threw fewer than 25 passes a game that year. The only loss that season, he threw 26 passes. The season low for passes was 25. Okay. So this idea that Jalen Hurts is this guy that just can manage games and they win when he doesn't throw is absolutely absurd. And again, this is Colin Cowherd doing no research whatsoever. He had this crap in his head that he wanted to talk about, and he's going to talk about it.
So Brock Purdy's got the best choreographed offense in the league to elevate him. Doesn't mean he doesn't have talent. And Hurts has the best trade manipulator and draft picker, arguably, in the NFL.
Trade manipulator and draft picker. That's what gives Jalen his success. That Jalen's not the one throwing passes. Jalen's not the one breaking those runs. That's Howie Roseman.
But let's not kid ourselves. 12 of the 14 teams in the league have a first-round quarterback. So there are some rare examples, and Purdy and Jalen Hurts and the Bizarro Bowl on Fox are examples that if you're good, not special historically, you get a Shanahan, you get a Howie Roseman. Yeah.
Tom Brady's not good. I mean, we could go on and on, but like the biggest thing, like I said, is, and when I rolled off all those numbers, all those names at the beginning, that doesn't mean it's easy to draft the right quarterback and know whether a quarterback's going to be good or not. It just means that teams looking for a franchise quarterback, most of them are going to be drafted in the first round. And as that list I gave you, most of them are not going to work out. But the whole thing going to the, Jalen isn't very good, it's because he has a good GM thing. That's new. I haven't heard that one. Let me know if you've heard that one, but I thought that one was kind of bizarre. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you checking out the video. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. You know the drill by now as we gear up for I got fingers crossed on that game too, because some of the stuff I've seen out there by 49ers fans, I'm like biting my tongue, and hopefully I can come back to it after this weekend. But I'll talk to you in the next video.